When you're completely yourself and you're 100% authentic, and when you're honest with people and you're honest with yourself, you don't have to remember anything. And you also don't burn out because you're not trying to turn on a version of you that isn't honest.
Welcome to Late Bloomer Living, the podcast where we're all about shaking up our ideas about what it means to grow older. I'm Yvonne Marchese, your resident age agitator and play instigator. Around here, we believe midlife is the perfect time to play, to reinvent, and bloom like you mean it. Let's go. Hello, my friend. Today, I am welcoming back someone whose journey has been nothing short of inspiring. You may remember her from episode 92. That conversation was titled, I Am Enough. And honestly, it's a phrase that still captures the spirit that she brings to everything she does. Since then, our guest today, Jennifer Polt, has gone through some big, bold changes. She left her corporate job to go all in on her life as a full-time influencer and speaker and confidence coach. She's showing up online and in real life with this just amazing mix of style and honesty and comedy and pure joy. If you've ever seen her dancing in random public places, you know exactly what I mean. Jennifer is the founder of Glossed World, where she helps women own their own story, show up with confidence, and live unapologetically no matter their age. And today we're catching up on what it takes to reinvent yourself in midlife again and again, because that happens sometimes, and why living fully self-expressed might be the most powerful thing you can do. Jen, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so glad to have you back.
I'm so glad to be back. I can't believe it's 3 years since our last conversation. I just about fainted when I went back in the archives of our connections. I thought, it can't be 3 years ago.
But
just here we are.
I feel like my head wants to pop off my body thinking about that.
I know.
Yeah. So a lot's happened for you since we last spoke.
You know, just a couple, 2-3 things.
Just a couple, 2-3 things. Where do you want to start? Let's see.
Yeah.
Did we talk in 2022? I forget when, but soon after you made the decision to leave your corporate.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it when I talked to you, I think in the spring of 22.
Yeah, but before I talked to you last time, you had a viral moment that kind of exploded something that you'd been doing. I want to say it was like a passion project that turned into a thing, right?
I say it's accidental influencer.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't see that coming. I had started my online platform as a creative outlet, but also as a learning, because at the time I was a sales and training executive for Chanel for the fragrance and beauty division. And I was responsible for training a lot of the teams in my location who were selling to different clients and how to sell. And I had picked up Instagram and started creating content because during COVID, I was trying to figure out how are we going to sell skincare and cosmetics and fragrances to people that can't touch the product, sit in a chair and get a makeup done again. And so I thought, well, maybe we should learn how to do more social selling because we might have to do this for a while until the world goes back to normal. And I thought the best way to model it would be to do it myself.
I didn't know this particular thing. I didn't know that it was really the corporate thing that you were doing that kind of was the inspiration for starting in the first place. Whoa, okay. Mind blown again.
Yeah, I mean, I really thought if I'm going to go in and ask these teams to, expand their brain and start to sell differently, I should walk the walk. And at the time I was over 50 and I didn't know what a hashtag was. And I thought I better learn this platform and figure it all out. And so that's how it really started. And then when the content took off and started to just get a small following, 1,000 people, maybe.
Did you start with the sitting at your vanity table doing makeup, or
No,
what was the first content?
It started with, I was part of some Facebook groups during COVID, just to network with not even network, but just have fun with other women. It was kind of an escape. And it was a lot of conversations around doing makeup and around style. They were doing style challenges. We were getting all dressed up to go to dinner at our dining room table because we weren't going anywhere. And so I started to create content there. And the women there were asking, do you have an Instagram? Where can I follow you? I was like, yeah, I have an Instagram. I haven't done shit with it in years. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I thought, okay, I'll create some content here. And then that's when, a few weeks into the whole pandemic lockdown, when we realized we weren't going to go back to normal anytime soon, that's when I started to consider how could I use this tool to teach and educate my teams so that they could start selling in a different way. And so teaching myself the platform became important. And then so I started with a pair of pants. I was goofing around with, putting on an outfit and found these pants and was sharing it on my Instagram. And my friend said, how would you style those? And that was the first style up video that I ever did.
Gotcha.
And yeah. And so it started with just kind of styling things. And then I thought, well, I should share my makeup knowledge because I'd been in the beauty industry for years. I had started in the late 90s behind the counter. And then for the handful of years before I became a creator, I was a sales and training exec. So I thought, well, I do know this. I should also share this part of my knowledge. And so it became a combination of those two things. But always in my beauty career, I approached it from that perspective of what taking care of the outsides can do to how it transforms your insides. So for me, it was never really about the lipstick. It wasn't really about making someone over. For me, it was this power in having a woman take care of herself on the outside and how it might transform what she feels about herself and how she carries herself and how she walks through the world.
That's why I
And
resonate with what you do, Jen, because I'm a real basic girl when it comes to style. I do like to get dressed, and occasionally I'll attempt a Jen Polt outfit of the day.
which would probably include leopard and sequins.
I need more leopard and sequins in my life for sure. Hey, let's take a quick break because I've got something fantastic to share with you. Have you ever thought about what it really means to live your best life? Well, my dear friend Lou Blazer has, and she's sharing her discoveries in her weekly newsletter called We're All Getting Older. It's a newsletter for anyone exploring personal growth, intentional living, and embracing joy, especially in midlife and beyond. Lou has this wonderful obsession with the idea of dying happy, and she shares her insights on how to make the most of our lives right now, every week. I look forward to opening her emails every week because it's filled with inspiration and actionable ideas. If that sounds like something you'd love too, you got to check it out. Signing up is super easy. Just head over to loublazer.com. That's LOUBLASER.com. And you can do it there. Trust me, you'll thank yourself for it. And now, back to our regularly scheduled programming. I love that you access this sense of empowerment for women at any age, kind of working from the outside in. That so clearly comes across to me in everything that you do, that you're more about that sense of empowerment. And I love that about you.
Thanks. I mean, I feel like it's sometimes the easiest thing to transform is what we wear. The easiest thing that we can transform as we're trying to transform our confidence, level up our confidence, walk through the world more confidently is, okay, it may take some time for the insides to catch up. And so sometimes it's a requirement to do a little more self-care in how we present ourselves. And sometimes the reactions and the mirroring back that we get when we walk into a room feeling confident on the outside, those messages that we receive as a result help us catch up on our insides.
Yeah. I've had that feeling walking into a room where I feel like I'm wearing something that I'm like, yeah, I'm rocking this today.
Yeah. I always was very careful that I didn't use the word makeover when I was doing makeup with people, because I didn't want someone to feel like how you presented is wrong and we're going to fix you. And so for me, it was, what do you love about yourself? What do you want to enhance? Having conversations with women about, okay, when you look in the mirror, what do you love about your face? And sometimes that question was hard for them to answer.
I bet.
Playing up those parts of them that made them feel beautiful, that made them feel confident, watching that transformation. I could care if they bought the lipstick. I just wanted to watch a woman see herself differently. That aha moment when she looked in the mirror and the shoulders kind of went back a little bit and she stood a little bit taller. That was the thing for me that really made me love the beauty industry. It wasn't the vanity of trying to make people look pretty. It was that feeling of this little tube could be transformative.
Yeah. That self-expression aspect of it. Oh, wow. So after you and I spoke, you had a trigger that was like, oh, I can leave this corporate thing and go do my thing now. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it started as an inkling. I mean, I've been a year and a half in, and I had this one viral moment that was just a silly video that took off, and it really solidified my brand, I think, because it was a video that included the F word, a version of the F word, which apparently is also part of my brand. But it was just the humor of it, of, we're not too old to go out there and spread around some fun. We'll use a different F word. And that kind of took off. And I thought, wow, this is really wild that it has taken off the way it did. And then you and I spoke, and I had grown to about 50,000 followers shortly after you and I spoke. And I just put something wild out into the universe. At the time, I was about to turn 51. And I thought, I want to hit 50K while I'm still 50. It was never really about the number of followers, but I just love the idea of like,
It's a fun little gamification. I kind of like the matching up of the 50-50.
I try not to get too woo-woo, like, oh, we can manifest everything. But I was like, I want to hit 50K in the community before I turn 51. And sure enough, it happened with another viral moment. And that 50K turned into 100K just a few weeks later.
Wow.
And it was just another silly video. And it just resonated. People got a kick out of it. And off it went into the interwebs. And it went viral to the tune of 4 million people saw it or something.
Crazy.
And the community doubled in what felt like overnight. And in that moment, I started to think I'd already been getting little brand deals here and there. And I was, brands were reaching out to me and seeking me out to represent them. And I thought, I wonder if I could make this a career, because it really drew on all of the things I thought I was good at and that I know are my superpowers. I love sales, but I love sales from a perspective of authentically loving something and recommending it, and not so much of, I'm going to sell you something you don't need. And it also pulled together my education background. It pulled together my sense of humor. And it pulled together a lot of things I thought I was good at, doing. I don't think I'm the next, Kevin O'Quan, but I could paint a decent face. And I know enough about beauty products to be dangerous and to help women not feel intimidated when they go and they purchase things. And so that's where all of it was born. But it was shortly after I talked to you, there was that moment of, I put it out in the universe. I'm going to quit my corporate job next year. Wow. And that was the plan.
So I'm going to guess that you didn't plan for that particular video to be your viral moment, because who can plan that? But when you look back on it, can you look at it, and deconstruct and go, oh, I think I see why this worked?
Yeah. I mean, when people ask me about viral moments, I always tell them it's never the video that you have edited and wrote a script for. Every time I've had a really viral moment, except for one, they've been a lip sync to an audio that I thought was really funny and relatable. So it wasn't a song, it was someone talking, and the message that they were saying resonated with me. Mm-hmm. And I lip synced to it and did it in a funny way. And it resonated with other people. And the first video was a message about like, hey, today we're not going to be sad. We're going to, go get a snack, get a nap, get ourselves together. We're going to go out and spread effery. It was just this fun idea of like, hey, that's enough of this. Like, get your ass up and let's go out there and knock the world upside the head. So that was one. And then the second video was this funny audio of, stop asking women why are you all dressed up? And it's like, ask yourself, why do you look like that? I'm going to my mailbox. What? And so, but in the video, I wore head to toe sequins and like a faux fur coat. I was dressed to the nines and I was like, I'm going to my mailbox. What? And women loved it. And they just sent, I think when I talk to people about viral, it's the ways that I see viral moments happening is when you are relatable, when it's something shareable, and when the message resonates. And it resonated with women. They were like, yeah, I get asked that all the time. Like, why am I all dressed up? What do you mean? I'm not, this is how I dress. This, this is dressed up to you, but this is just dressed for me. And just that idea of finding joy in our clothes and not wanting to just walk around in sweatpants all day long and how it shouldn't be an event that, oh, today I'm going someplace special. Like, no, I'm just existing, and I choose to exist in a way that makes me feel great. And I think that was the piece of it that really resonated with women. They loved that messaging about, yeah, like I don't have to get dressed up for something. I can just get dressed up for me.
Yeah.
And that was really the whole ethos of my brand from the start.
Wow. Okay. So now you've got this viral moment and then you go, okay, this is it. I'm doing it. I'm going out on my own. So did you feel like pretty good about that decision? Was it like, oh, holy crap?
I felt really good about the decision. I do like to put deadlines on things for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I want to quit my corporate job by March of 2023 because it would be right after I'd get my bonus.
Uh-huh. Let's be real here, people, right?
Exactly, because I was inspired, but I'm not stupid. I thought, I'll get my bonus because I'm going to finish out this year, work my butt off to get the bonus. And so I should collect on that damn thing.
Yeah.
And so I thought, I'll collect my bonus. So it was a 9-month kind of projected end game. And I started to really talk it into existence. I'm like, I'm going to quit my job next year. And I would tell my parents, my close friends, my husband, and he was not wired for that. He was wired for safety and security. But I've always been that way. I've always been someone who wanted to take chances on myself and take risks. And they've always worked out, knock on wood. And that year, I picked up about 30% of my Chanel salary in just side gigs with brands. And I thought, I'm not even really trying for these opportunities. If I really had the time to lean into this 100%, what could I do?
Yeah.
And so fast forward about 8 months, it was February of 2023. He and I had all these conversations. We mapped out all the numbers. We ran all the spreadsheets, what I knew I could bring in regularly and all of the things I could cover, etc. He reluctantly agreed, but agreed to support my efforts. And a few weeks later, I got my bonus and I put in my 2 weeks. And my end date rolls around. I get my last, I turn in my computer. I'm like, I'm out of here. Adios, muchachos. I'm Jerry Maguire with the goldfish in the baggie. Like, let's go. Who's with me? And 3 weeks later, my husband came home and said he didn't want to be married anymore. And it was that feeling of, oh, shitballs. I did not see this coming.
Oh my God.
And it was, and I don't want to paint him as a villain. I think, we weren't perfect. I know that much for sure, but I certainly would have preferred some conversations before that bomb was dropped. And I don't believe that we should have stayed together, but at the same time, the timing of it all was awful because it affected me in a lot of ways that I didn't see coming. It felt like this person who was supposed to be in my corner, who just a couple months ago was saying, okay, go for it. I got you. Right. Was like, no, I don't got you.
I can only imagine that, Jen. I mean, I'm sitting here going, holy cannoli. And, as somebody who's working towards things, sometimes I worry that if I am successful, I'm going to lose relationships.
Yeah.
And was that ever a worry for you ahead of time that the success in this arena might cost you some relationships? Maybe not him in particular, but did you have that fear of success kind of thing going?
I've never had that particular fear of success because I've always believed that the people who are for you will stay with you.
Yeah.
And I've been very blessed in the choosing of people that I've brought into my life and in my boundaries, I think that I've set over the years of who gets access to me and who I embrace in my life, that my tribe is full of people who are cheerleading every positive thing that happens to me.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that feeling of, oh, if I get too big, I'm going to lose these people. It's a note for all of us, because the people who will be okay with losing you when you are making big moves for yourself were never in your corner to begin with.
Yeah.
And so I've always been in that place of, hey, if my success or the positive changes I'm affecting in my life, if that threatens you to the point where you don't want to be in my life, then you probably weren't really for me to begin with. And that's cool. Collateral damage like that for me has never been a problem.
Yeah.
I got a really great life raft full of incredible cheerleaders, and I'm cool if someone wants to jump off the raft.
Yeah. But in the
So,
meantime,
but
this
in
is
the
like a
meantime,
day-to-day existence change because
for sure.
this is your husband. So then you're like, okay, so I'm just going to leave you there. What how did you get through it? How did you get through that?
I won't lie to you and tell you that it didn't level me. It leveled me emotionally. It also leveled my motivation. It leveled my confidence in myself
Yeah.
because it felt like this was someone who was saying, I got you. Here's your safety net. And then it was like, you know what? We're going to cut the ropes on that safety net. You're on your own. And I thought, wow, there was that split second moment of, man, I wish you would have told me this 3 weeks ago before I walked away from the 6-figure salary with the pension and the benefits and the 401k and all of those things. But then there was that part of me that thought, I'm so glad he didn't tell me before I did it. I do think that the timing was divine and it didn't make me choose between dreams and safety and security.
Yeah.
And I know that if I stayed where I was going to be miserable. And so, yes, this was not the not the door of opportunity I necessarily thought I'd be walking through, but it also it made me gut check how bad I wanted it,
Yeah.
because it would be really easy to go back to a 9 to 5 and go for safety and security and stability. But I was really hell bent on trying to follow through on this for myself and for my community, because there were so many people who were rooting for me in this process that I thought, if I give up on myself right away, what does that tell them about me? And what does that tell me about me and my dreams I had set forth for myself?
Yeah. I
So
remember you posting about this on Instagram because you are an open book, which I appreciate. I really appreciate that because it's so, I'm getting verklempt actually, because it's so easy, I think, for us to show the success in the hard candy shell. And I think that's what most people tend to do. And what I love about you is that you do show that there's a whole lot of living going on behind what you're doing. So
yeah,
thank you for that. And what I admire about the transition that you made is, girl, you just went all in.
yeah,
You did. I mean, next thing I know, you're doing like speaking events. I can't remember where. Next thing I know, you've got a coaching program that you launched. You just tripled down on yourself and what you were offering. And I just want to give you the biggest kudos for that.
thanks, sis.
Yeah. I wonder if, and here's a tough question, so bear with me. If you'd still had the safety net of the relationship, do you think you would have gone as hard and all in?
No, I mean, I think at the time it felt like I said to my friends, I likened it to, a plane about to take off and then someone greased the runway. There was that feeling of, I was like getting momentum, and then all of this, and now I call it the big announcement happened. And then just, I couldn't get traction. And it was like that for quite a while, for a handful of months, because we were still living together while we were working out our separation agreement and all the things. And it was just awful to
Yeah.
try to be working from home and launching this brand of mine while looking at someone that I loved who didn't want to be with me anymore. And it was just that feeling of, oh, how am I going to get through all of this? I think when he finally moved out and I had the space to myself, it was a few weeks until my birthday. And I thought, I've got to bring in this birthday with something big. And that's when I launched my website that I'd been talking about for over a year. And I finally called somebody and I was like, I need your help. Get me online by my birthday. And so it was just that feeling of, okay, he was gone in 2.5 weeks. And I was just scrambling to get my website up and get my branding right and really quit listening to my bullshit and just try to move forward. But to your point, I've always tried to share both sides of the coin. And I think it was always really important to me that I didn't present just greatest hits. I wanted everyone to see that, hey, there's going to be some B-sides that never made it to the charts. No one loves every Prince song. So I was like, listen, I'm going to be really honest, because I don't know how else to be except very authentic in this process. I felt that if I also shared all of the other facets and I brought some of the ugly ones to the light, that there would be more inspiration for people to see themselves in my story and not just think that everything came easy or that I'm super privileged. I recognize privilege that I have, but certainly I wanted women to feel that this could be their story and that they could see themselves in my story. And it wasn't all just glitter and diamonds. It was sometimes slogging through the mud and figuring it all out.
Yeah. Not just leopard skin and sequins.
Not just, yeah, leopard print and sequins. I mean, I think too, whenever I talk to other creators, they're like, what's your advice? I said, the quickest way to burn out is to present yourself in a way that isn't authentic. And if there's that, I love that line. I think it was Mark Twain who said, if you never lie, you don't have to remember anything. And, it was just that idea of, when you're completely yourself and you're 100% authentic, and when you're honest with people and you're honest with yourself, you don't have to remember anything. And you also don't burn out because you're not trying to turn on a version of you that isn't honest, because that's what they've been consuming this whole time. So I thought, I'm going to be just me, and I'm going to be for someone, and I'm going to not be for other people. And that's okay, because I don't want the other people. I want my people. So I don't try to be something for everybody.
Love that about you.
Thanks, sis.
Okay, so can we talk about dancing in public?
Yeah. Yeah. What's so funny is I always joke around. I've been asked to speak at a bunch of different things, and they were asking me, what do you love about being an influencer? I said, I'm the shittiest influencer there is. I'm a terrible influencer. I go to these events. I know I'm supposed to be capturing content, and I get wrapped up in the moment and the conversations and the connections. And then I go, oh shit, I never created the content. Like, I'm terrible. I have all these friends that they've got their shot lists all ready to go, and they've got the stuff they want to cover and when they want, and I just walk in with a camera like, what's up?
I can totally see myself being that way too, Jen, and I'm a photographer.
Totally.
It's hilarious. I'm like, I would totally go and be prepared to do that, for somebody else, and that's what but to do it, yeah, never mind. So
I'm a let's wing it MFer. I'm just like, we'll just figure it out when we get there. And so, yeah, I mean, and the funniest part too is that as shameless and as self-assured as I can be, I also get really freaked out trying to film myself in public, because I feel like everyone's looking at me, and like, because we didn't grow up with this kind of look at me stuff. We're Gen Xers. We were like, hey,
it's cringy.
Right.
It's cringy.
And all the selfie things and stuff. I'm like, oh, can we do this in the corner over here? Because I like to be the center of attention when it's under my control, and when I can just be a complete goofball. But when it comes to, I'm going to turn the camera on a tripod and be by myself on the street, just walking with my purse. I didn't grow up this way. I mean, yes, only child, like, look at me kind of stuff. But it was always when I felt like, you're going to look at me for something I think I'm really good at, or funny, or whatever. Don't look at me while I'm struggling.
Right.
Turn away, please. So yeah, the dancing in public thing was also sort of a little bit of both. It was, I mean, I've always loved to dance, and that's always been a part of me. But yeah, I taken my girlfriend out for her birthday, and we went to this really fun restaurant, and they had belly dancers, and we were having a great time, great music and live drumming. And the belly dancer pulls me up on stage. And of course, I'm going to ham it up because it's my girlfriend's birthday, and she's filming me, and I'm just going to, I'm here to make my girlfriend laugh. Like, I wasn't doing this for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm up there, and I do my very best attempt to belly dance with this incredible woman. And my girlfriend had filmed it. I'm like, I'm going to throw this up on the internet because, yeah, I don't have a flat stomach. And yeah, I got stuff that jiggles in places I don't want it to be jiggling anymore. But, this is what my body looks like now. And I thought, there's so many messages that we get as women, like, you're not fit enough. Your belly's not flat. It's not tight. It's not high. It's not this. It's not that. And I thought, let me just throw this up there. Like, hey, sometimes you just got to say, fuck it and dance. And, that took off. I mean, women were like, yes. And yes, there were some trolls who were like, you shouldn't be doing that, and your age, and you don't have the body for it. And I'm like, I don't care what you think, bro. Right. I don't care.
Move along.
I'm not here for you. I'm here for them. I'm here for that woman who was like, yeah, I'm going to do that too. So it is a constant reminder for myself. The dancing in public thing is just a fun way to not take myself as seriously, to not get so in my head about like, why do we care what complete strangers who are going to look at you like this and then keep going? They're going to go get their latte and not think about you ever again.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it. So, wow. What's next?
Oh God, and you're going to ask me that. I mean, it's funny. I'm a total squirrel brain. So I always have I always say, ideas 10, execution 2.
I can relate.
I'm always like,
I resemble that remark.
Right. And I'm still one person. I don't have a team. I don't have an assistant. I don't have anyone who helps me do anything. So it's a lot, the editing and the things and all of this stuff. Short term right now is I will be hosting a talk show, which is kind of an extension off of my brand, with a network called This Is It TV. And it was an online network, and they're moving to streaming services. And so it will be, more of a homegrown kind of feeling talk show. The 4 pillars will be around beauty and style and lifestyle, but also inspirational stories from women, either female founders or entrepreneurs or women who've made big midlife pivots, and just these inspiring stories of women who are doing amazing things.
That is so exciting. So when does that get going?
I start filming in June, and so hopefully the first episodes will launch in July is the plan. I'm still noodling on the name, but yeah, I'm excited about that especially. And I would really like to expand my speaking engagements. So that'll be the next thing, hopefully.
That is so exciting. It's great to see your speaking. The coaching, I think, is it's a natural outgrowth, I think, of your mission and what you're doing in the world to make a difference for women in their 50s and beyond. Because, yeah, what a natural next step for you.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It feels good. I've always been an educator, and I've always been a mentor in some capacity, even when I was a kid.
And you are going to rock as a host.
Thanks. I'm excited about it. I think that's something I do have as a superpower. I think my gift of gab and getting people to open up and share their stories and connect, I think, is something that I love doing. And so it's a natural superpower for me. And I'm excited to bring some of what I do to a different audience in a different way. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see it and help you promote it and get it out in the world, because it sounds like it's a great mission. I love that.
Thanks. I appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah. So where can people come and find you these days?
Oh, absolutely. On the internet, I am at glossedworld.com, glossed like lip gloss, past tense. And on socials, I'm at Making Up for Glossed Time.
Awesome. Jen, I so appreciate you coming back to hang out with me for a little bit and give us the update. And I continue to take huge inspiration from you, and you make me laugh. So, double, triple bonus for
that's part of
making me laugh.
Sure. The laughter is necessary.
All right. I love you, lady.
Thank you. So great to be back with you.
Well, there you have it. What a ride, right? Jen's story is such a powerful reminder that reinvention doesn't always come in a neat little package with a bow. In fact, it never comes that way. Most often, it shows up in the middle of heartbreak, uncertainty, or unexpected change. And yet, we can still rise. We can still create something beautiful. If you're on Instagram, my recommendation is to be sure to follow Jen for her uplifting videos. She always makes me laugh. She's there as Making Up for Glossed Time, and I will put a link to that in the show notes along with a link to her website. You can go to latebloomerliving.com and look for episode 237. And if you're feeling that pull to reclaim your joy, your confidence, your sense of play, I'd love to invite you to join the waitlist for the Play Shop. It's going to be coming out again soon. It's designed to help you reconnect with what lights you up and remind you that it's never too late to bloom. Head to latebloomerliving.com/play to get on the waitlist, and you're going to be the first to know when the next one opens up. And until next time, my friend, keep going, bloom like you mean it, and don't forget to dance in public now and then.